Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day or evening wherever you are. Today I'm going to do my curling ink for the month of April. This year is really flying by. I do ink up quite a few pens at a time, so I do have more ink than this, but these are the ones that I wrote with for the most of the month of April. So we'll just get started. The first pen up is the Pineider La Grande Belleza mystery filler, and this is the Black Russian. See, it has a nice springy clip with the rose gold. I think I have shown this in a previous curly inked. This is a limited edition. And there's the top finial. So this is the, you zoom in a little bit. This is the Pineider La Grande Belleza. I think that means big beauty or something like that. Mystery filler. And it's Black Russian. And this is a quill or flex nib. It's a 14 karat. The ink that I have in here is Birmingham Pen Company, and this is Bowler Steam, which is a nice bluish green. And there is the flexi nib. Trying to get my camera focused. Some nice cutouts on the side, so it is really springy. It did take me quite a bit of time to get used to it. So when I'm just writing, it's a little dirty. When I'm writing normally, when I don't want any flex, I just have to remember to keep a pretty light touch on it. So I need to clean that off. But that's the La Grande Belleza by Pineider. And the mystery filler, it just feels, it's a piston filler, so you can't turn it when it's down, so you just press it and it comes out, and then you're able to turn it. Just a basic piston filler. And it has a magnetic cap, and it also posts magnetically. You can hear that snap into place. Nice pen, but like I said, it took me a little bit to get used to it. Next we have the Asvine V169, and this is a skeleton pen. This is the matte black finish. I also have one that's silver. Nice thing about this pen is that it's has a little weight to it, but they did this really well. I have a Le Bon skeleton as well, and it wasn't done as nearly as smoothly. So this feels really good in your hands. It's not scratching or anything. It doesn't post very well, but I guess you can if you really wanted to. I've had it rolling around in the case for a while, and usually with these matte finishes, you'll get a shiny spot here and there, but no shiny spots so far, so this is holding up pretty well. So this is the Asvine V169, and this is a fine steel. Right, it's very medium, but it is a fine. There's the nib. There's the feet. This is a piston filler. It holds quite a bit of ink. Asvine V169. The ink is Auto Hoot Red Roses. And that is a very firm but wet nib. You can see there how nice the shading is. Just nicely in reverse. So that's what the Red Roses looks like. And the Asvine. Very nice pen, very smooth. It's buttery smooth. So that's the Asvine. The clip is a little firm, a little too firm. It doesn't fit. It fits in my case, but it does fray my straps. But overall, very nice pen. Next up, I have the Nettuno. This is a 1911 Black Sands, and this is in the rose gold appointments, or rose gold trim. And there's the nib, the feet. So this is the Nettuno 1911. I also have the same model in a medium, and it has black trim. Unfortunately, the black trim is wearing off, so yeah, that's a little frustrating. So this is a fine steel. Again, another fine that's kind of on the heavier side. And the ink in here is Monteverde. And this is Fire Opal. This is from their Gem series. Also nice firm nib, but also wet. Very nice. Both of them write very nicely. And there it is in reverse. Very nice pen, made in Italy. Nice clip, very functional. Not too heavy, it's not too big. It's just like a perfect size. Let me see, you can post it. Yeah, you can, it does post nicely. And it's a cartridge converter filler. Pillar. It has a nice Nettuno converter. I think this is a blind cap. Yes, it does come off. So that's the Nettuno. Very nice pen. Switch over here, and today I'm using my black and red notebook. You can see with the swatches, this does very well. These marks are just from rubbing up against that, but it doesn't bleed through. So it's a very nice fountain pen friendly paper. So next we have the Montblanc. This is the 146, and this is a medium. I want to switch to my left hand. Montblanc Meisterstuck. $146, and this is a medium 14 karat. And the ink is Montblanc, just their plain mystery black. I did have some issues with this hard starting, so I just ran some brass through the tines, and it seems to be working a lot better. can get some good line weight variation with this. It does flex quite a bit. In reverse. And this I bought on eBay. I forget how much it was, but you probably can't see that, but it had someone's name engraved. It's really quite easy to remove an engraving. You just use a very fine grit sandpaper and just sand it down and then buff it. And this is a piston filler. So that's the Montblanc 146. I didn't pay very much for it. I guess because of the engraving. Someone else's name engraved in it. But the person, they got it, I think, from work, and they hardly used it and finally decided to get rid of it. So, very happy to have that. And if you watch some of my previous videos, you've seen this one. This is the Majohn X1. I had some issues with this one. It cracked down here, and so it leaked a little bit, but I just glued it, super glued it, and try to make it look a little prettier. But you can definitely tell there was some work done there. But it's done pretty good. There's some ink in there, but it hasn't leaked back here, which is good. And I also had a leak right down there. It had a little crack, and it was leaking. So I fixed that as well. Had to make sure my grooves weren't glued over. But I still enjoy writing with this pen. So this is the Majohn X1. See how nicely that writes. Zoom in a little bit. Majohn X1. This is an extra fine steel. I don't know if they've started making any different nibs for this, if they made any fine or mediums yet. But the last I checked, they were still just extra fine. But I love extra fines. And the ink in here is just the Dryden Designs cartridge. And that's the same ink that I use in here. So, if you didn't see my previous video, this is a knockoff of a Montblanc Bohème Focus. And so that's how the cartridge goes in. So I'm really hesitant to clean these out and change the color because, you know, you get water down there, and yeah, I don't really, wouldn't know the first about taking this apart. And so I just keep the same color in there. And the same with my Bohème, I just keep the same Montblanc cartridges in. So that's the Majohn X1. I love writing with that pen. And this is the Krusac Legends, Legend 13, Legend 14. And this is the Moby Dick. You see that? It's Moby Dick. I like how you just rotate it around and it goes from sky to sea, sky to sea. And this is handmade by Krusac, and it's number 95 out of 150. He also has the Headless Horseman and a few others that I can't think of. And there's the cap. There's some engraving in the cap. Very nice. There's a section. This is a cartridge converter filler. A lot of threads. It's running on empty. And as far as the nib, it just says RK. His initials. There's the feed. So this is the Krusac Legend. I don't know if it's Legend or Legends 14. Moby Dick. And this is a fine steel. I think it may be Yovo. I'm not sure. And the ink in here is Diplomat. Sepia. Black. This is a good ink for this. Good match. So again, that's Ryan's artwork. So there's the sky. This again his signature and the number. And then there's the sea, Moby Dick. Very good artistry. Haven't had any issues with that pen. It's just been a reliable, nice writer. Forgot to do my doodles. So we have, again, a firm nib. It is not ultra smooth, but has just the perfect amount of feedback. And reverse. Pretty nice. I'll do this. Go back and do the same for the Dryden. Dryden is a pretty firm nib. Reverse. Pretty nicely in reverse. You can see how wet the Krusac pen is. Maybe not a good pen for a lefty. Okay, next up we have this is a vintage pen. This is the Wahl-Eversharp Doric. And they actually, the description of this was an oversized, so it's kind of funny what they considered oversized back in the day. I think this pen is from the 30s or the 40s. But this is a piston filler. I think this is celluloid. This is the Wahl-Eversharp. And it is sharp Doric. It doesn't say on the nib whether it's a fine or extra fine, but this feels like, if there is such a thing, an extra fine, almost like an accountant nib, I think. And this is a 14 karat. And the ink in here is Private Reserve. And this is Sherwood Green. Maybe not the best match, but it's a bright green. And this is kind of a hunter or dark green. It's a very firm nib. It's not a flexi. I think this was an accountant nib. I have one accountant nib on one of my Watermans. It feels kind of the same. Reverse, okay, in reverse. So that's the Wahl-Eversharp Doric. I would like to get a deco band one day, but they're super expensive. This wasn't expensive, or too expensive. Okay, that was the Wahl-Eversharp. And the last three pens. This is a tough one to get out of the case, it's so big. This is a Benu Euphoria, and this is the 2023 New Year's version. It's a limited edition. I have number 459 out of 500. And they have their nice, easy to use clip. And you can see all the glitter. There's some stars. Mostly green, gold, and silver. Very beautiful. It took a while for Benu to grow on me, but once I got my first Euphoria, That was pretty hooked. I don't like those skulls and roses ones, but I do like this and the talisman. So there's the nib. Feed. And it's a cartridge converter as well. The converter is included, and this is running on fumes, so hopefully I can get through this video. So this is Benu Euphoria. New Year's 2023. Limited. This is a fine steel, maybe a Yovo, I'm not sure. Let me see. No, it's a Schmidt. And the ink, one of my favorite inks. This is Diamond. This is Spruce. And this is from Inkvent 2022. This is a scented ink. It's a very deep green. This probably would look better in the Doric, but it has some sheen, or some sheen to it, so I probably won't put it in the Doric because it's kind of a thick ink. But I love it. I love the way it smells. I hope they make some big bottles of Spruce because I really love it. So that's the Benu Euphoria. Down to my last two pens. This is the, can't post this. The Benu, let me see the Benu if you can post it. It's such a big pen. And again, I forgot to do my doodles. It's such a big pen. But you can post it. It's just super long. The nib does have some movement to it. It's not firm, but there's a little bit of line weight variation. But it's such a wet writer. The reverse is okay. Okay, so back to the next pen. This is the Jinhao 100. And these come in a ton of colors. This comes off. It's not a blind cap, but it does come off. So, Jinhao 100. This is a beautiful blue. I also have a green one. Then I have the classy black and gold. And it's converter. And there's the Infinio, the clip. It's a nice, I know it's a, what is it, pen? Parker Dual Fold knockoff, but I like these. They write nicely. Everyone that I have writes very nicely. So this is the Jinhao 100. Jinhao 100 and Centennial. And this one is what is this one? This is a medium. I think all of mine are mediums. I may put a Kaweco fine on one of the three. So this is a medium steel. It has 18 karat gold plated, but I don't really know what that means or if that's real. I don't think it really means anything. Let's see, the ink is Monteverde. This is Caribbean blue. Again, a firm nib. And just the perfect amount of feedback and smoothness, perfect combo of feedback and smoothness. I love this pen. Reverse, nicely in reverse. So that's the Jinhao 100, and that's the Monteverde Caribbean Blue. I have a lot of Monteverde Blue inks that I need to use up, but that's the Jinhao 100. The clip, very springy, usable. Very good bargain. The last pen, last but not least, is the Kaweco AC Sport, and this is just a Kaweco cartridge. It dries really fast, as you can see. I can't even do a pseudo swatch of it. Yeah, very fast dry ink, so obviously that's a good. This is a good lefty pen. So Kaweco AC, and AC just stands for aluminum and carbon fiber. Has the carbon fiber pattern in there. Kaweco AC Sport, and this is a super smooth, beautiful pen to write with. Probably my best writing Kaweco. And this is a medium steel, and the ink is Kaweco. This is a Kaweco cartridge. You can see it's kind of a bluish purple. But just really a lovely pen. Just these are small. If you have small hands, these are really good pens. But these are good for quick notes or whatever. Long writing session, because the section is a little short for me. I need just a little bit more room. But that's the Kaweco AC Sport. I did get I pimped it out with a black clip. My dog is snoring, as always. So, yeah. So these are my 10 favorites for the month. Zoom out. Again, it was the Pineider Grande Belleza Black Russian. No, let me do it right. Pineider Grande Belleza Mystery Filler Black Russian. Asvine V169 in the matte black. We have the Nettuno 1911 Black Sand. Montblanc Meisterstuck 146. Majohn X1. The Krusac Legends 14 Moby Dick. The Wahl-Eversharp Doric. The Benu. Let me see if I can get this out. The Benu New Year's 2023 limited edition, the Jinhao 100 Centennial, and the Kaweco AC or aluminum carbon sport. So thank you all for watching. Hope you're all doing well, and I will catch you next time. Take care.